She said, "Stop acting like we're married. You don't get a say in where I go or who I'm with." Everyone laughed. I just smiled and stayed quiet. But when she returned from her weekend away, her key didn't work, and the neighbor explained why. My girlfriend, Emily, and I have a fundamental disagreement about the nature of reality. I believe that if you live in someone's house, eat their food, and use their Wi-Fi, you're in a partnership. Emily believes she's a star, and I'm just a minor moon orbiting her. We've been together for 2 years, and for the last 6 months, she's been living in my house. My name is on the mortgage, the bills, and the little sign by the door that says The Smiths, which she bought without asking me, a gesture that now feels overly hopeful. I'm a laid-back guy. I enjoy my quiet life. I work from home as a graphic designer, have a few close friends, and my idea of a wild Friday night is trying a new frozen pizza brand. Emily is the opposite. Her life is a stage, and her audience is her 3 best friends, whom I privately call the Sirens. Their names are Tara, Brooke, and let's say the third is Merlot. The issue came up last weekend. I was cooking dinner when Emily swept into the kitchen, phone glued to her ear, already dressed to go out. She was in a loud conversation with the Sirens. "Oh my gosh, yes, I'm totally in," she said into the phone. "A weekend away is just what I need. No, he's not coming, don't be silly." She hung up and turned to me, beaming. "Good news, the girls and I are going to the coast for the weekend, leaving tomorrow." This was news to me. "Oh, okay," I said, stirring the pasta sauce. "Sounds fun. Which beach are you heading to?" It was a simple question, one a normal person in a relationship might ask. Emily looked at me like I'd asked her to solve a calculus problem in Latin. She let out a sharp laugh and turned to Tara, who had just walked in. "Can you believe him?" Emily said, rolling her eyes. "What?" "He wants to know where I'm going." Tara smirked, eyeing me like I was a worn-out chair she might toss out. Emily turned back to me, hands on hips, and delivered the line that would echo through my immediate future. "Stop acting like we're married. You don't get a say in where I go or who I'm with." The Sirens, now all gathered in my kitchen, erupted in laughter. It was a chorus of mockery. They genuinely thought this was hilarious. A man in his own home told he has no right to ask a basic question about his live-in girlfriend's plans. I stood there, wooden spoon in hand, pasta sauce dripping onto the floor. I didn't get mad or argue. A strange calm settled over me. The part of my brain trying to make this relationship work packed its bags, tipped its hat, and left. I looked at her smug, smiling face and gave her a big, empty smile. "You know what?" I said, my voice cheerful. "You're absolutely right, my mistake." They laughed again, thinking I'd backed down. Emily gave me a patronizing pat on the cheek, and they swept out for a pre-weekend cocktail hour. I stood in the kitchen, the silence broken only by the bubbling sauce. "Okay," I said to myself, a new, intriguing plan forming. Not married, no say, got it. The weekend was about to get interesting, for me. The moment Emily's car, likely packed with glitter and wine, vanished down the street on Friday, I got to work. My mission wasn't packing or cleaning. It was strategic. I went next door to Mrs. Carter, an 80-year-old widow with a kind smile, a stunning garden, and a neighborhood watch system that would impress any spy agency. Nothing happens on our block without her noticing. I brought her a slice of her favorite blueberry pie and sat on her porch. "Mrs. Carter," I said after we chatted about the weather and the local raccoon's misdeeds, "I have a situation and I need your help. It involves a bit of drama." Her eyes sparkled. She loves a good show. I explained what happened, quoting Emily's exact words, "Stop acting like we're married." I didn't need to exaggerate. The truth was enough. By the end, Mrs. Carter was patting my hand, her face full of righteous indignation. "That brazen girl," she declared. "Don't worry, James. Leave it to me. What's my line?" I gave her a simple script. When Emily returned and found herself locked out, Mrs. Carter was to act confused and deliver key information. She embraced the role like a veteran actress. With my ally secured, I began Operation Home Reclaim. For 6 months, my house had been overtaken by beige cushions, useless decorative bowls, and art that looked like a botched print job. It was time to take it back. I didn't just pack Emily's things, I organized them. I got boxes and a marker. The first was labeled everyday clothes. The second, fancy outfits for trips I wasn't invited to. The third, my favorite, glittery dresses that shed sparkles everywhere. Her 37 pairs of identical heels went into a box marked foot torture devices. Her makeup and skincare products filled boxes labeled face stuff and mystery creams. By Saturday morning, her belongings were gone. I hired movers from an app and we loaded everything into a 10x15 storage unit. I paid for 1 month, a generous, non-marital gesture. With the house cleared, the fun began. I went shopping. I rolled up the beige rug and replaced it with one that looked like a soccer field. I sold her bland white couch and bought a massive black leather recliner sofa with a dozen cup holders. Her minimalist coffee table was swapped for a retro arcade machine from an online marketplace. It didn't work, but it glowed, and that was enough. In the bedroom, I took down her weird woven wall hanging and put up a framed poster of a wolf howling at the moon. It felt perfect. The crowning touch came Saturday afternoon. I visited the animal shelter just to look. An hour later, I returned with a 120-pound Newfoundland puppy named Max. Max was a furry, drooling force of nature. He claimed the new sofa and fell asleep, snoring like a chainsaw. The house was no longer a sterile showroom. It was a fortress of unapologetic bachelorhood. I spent the weekend playing fetch with Max, drinking soda straight from the can and changing all the passwords. The new Wi-Fi network was named Get Your Own Internet, with the password Not Married 123. On Sunday evening, I sat on my cup-holder-heavy sofa with Max's giant head in my lap and waited. The storm was coming, and I was ready. Around 8 p.m., my video doorbell pinged. There was Emily, tanned from her coastal getaway, strolling up to the door, humming. She tried her key. It didn't turn. The new deadbolt I'd installed was working perfectly. She jiggled it, annoyance creeping onto her face. She tried again, then started banging on the door. Max lifted his head, let out a deep woof, and went back to sleep. Emily called my phone. I watched it vibrate on the arcade machine, took a sip of soda, and declined. She called again. Declined. This went on 5 times. The banging grew louder. James, open the door. What's wrong with you? My key isn't working. I stayed silent, savoring the moment. After more frantic pounding, she gave up. The doorbell camera showed her pacing, running her hands through her hair. Right on cue, Mrs. Carter's porch light flicked on. She appeared in her robe, holding a watering can. Showtime. "Oh, Emily, is that you?" Mrs. Carter called, her voice a mix of surprise and concern. "Mrs. Carter, thank goodness," Emily said, rushing to the porch's edge. "I can't get in. My key isn't working. Is James home? I see the lights." "Oh, James is home," Mrs. Carter said, nodding wisely. "He's had a wonderful weekend, a real transformation." "Transformation? What do you mean?" Emily asked. "Well, he told me the good news," Mrs. Carter said, leaning in. "He said you two aren't married and he doesn't get a say in what you do, so he celebrated his freedom, redecorated the whole house. It's a man's home now, very bold." Emily stared, mouth agape. "And the best part," Mrs. Carter continued, barely hiding her delight, "he got a dog, a big, wonderful boy named Max. He said he wanted a loyal companion who doesn't talk back. Isn't that sweet?" Emily's face was a mix of shock and horror. She peered through my living room window, her eyes widening at the soccer field rug, the arcade machine, and Max sprawled on the sofa. She let out a sound between a scream and a sob. She pulled out her phone and sent a flurry of furious texts. I responded with one message. "You said to stop acting like we're married. You said I don't get a say. I agree. This is my house and you don't get a say in how I live. Your things are at 456 Storage Lane, Unit 42. Code is 5678. You have 1 month. Good luck." I blocked her number. The doorbell camera caught her reading the text, staring at her phone, then the window, then back at her phone. She screamed, threw her phone onto the lawn, and had a spectacular meltdown. She ranted for 10 minutes before Tara arrived to pick her up. The next day, the social media campaign began. Vague posts about betrayal and men who can't handle strong women. It was predictable and dull. I let it simmer for 2 days. Then I posted on my private social media, visible to mutual friends. The album started with a photo of my living room a month ago, beige couch, useless bowls, sterile vibe. Caption. Before, the next showed the new setup, leather sofa, soccer rug, arcade machine, and Max looking regal. Caption. After. The final photo was me and Max on the couch, both grinning. Caption. Redecorated based on my new relationship status. I was told I'm not married and don't get a say, so I'm embracing my freedom. Bachelor life # dog best friend no say no stay. The post was a hit. Friends found it hilarious and the context spread fast. The narrative shifted from cruel boyfriend to girlfriend mocks relationship, is surprised when he agrees. Emily's friends went quiet. It's hard to play the victim when the villain is posting cute dog photos. Emily crashed with Tara, but that lasted less than a week. Tara reportedly got fed up with her freeloading. Emily moved back with her parents 2 hours away. She tried a legal threat, demanding access to the house and compensation for being made homeless. My lawyer sent back my mortgage statement, the lease in my name only, and a polite question about whether Emily would repay the 6 months of rent, utilities, and food she'd used. Her lawyer never responded. The funniest moment came a month ago at the dog park. Max was chasing a ball and I was chatting with another owner. A woman approached awkwardly Merlot, the third siren. "Hey, James," she said. "I'm sorry about that night at your house. We were out of line." I shrugged. "Emily said what she said. I just took her at her word." "Yeah, I know," Merlot said, shaking her head. "She's a lot. She called me last week, whining that her parents are making her get a job. She blamed you for ruining her life." She glanced at Max, who was trying to carry 2 balls in his mouth. "Honestly, you seem to be doing great." "And I am. The house is mine again. The arcade machine still doesn't work, but it's a great conversation starter. Max is the best roommate, loyal, funny, and he never critiques my cooking. I learned a lesson. Sometimes the best revenge is listening.